And I'm sorry, Miss Neal, I forgot you were there. Worries. Roll call, please. Barker?
Here.
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 Kavarchi.
Here.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. There is a flag in the back of the room on top. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The mission of the Buckeye Local Schools is to empower students to excel in a highly competitive society. Meeting agenda statement. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Approval of minutes. Recommend that the Buckeye Board of Education approve the minutes for the regular meeting of April 9th, 2019, and the special meeting of April 22nd, 2019. Motion, please. So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments about the minutes? I will be abstaining. I did attend the April 9th meeting, but was ill on April 22nd. Roll call.
Kavarchi?
Yes.
Stahl?
Yes.
Maxon?
Yes.
Barker?
Yes.
Recommendation statement. Following are the recommendations that have been identified for approval as part of the consent agenda for this meeting. If a board member wishes to remove any item from the agenda for further discussion prior to taking action, please let either the superintendent or the board president know. Approval of the consent agenda. Recommend that the Buckeye Board of Education approve the consent agenda of May 14th, 2019 as presented. A motion, please.
Motion. Second.
Roll call.
Maxon? Barker?
Yes.
Kavarchi?
Yes.
Stahl?
Yes.
Copeland?
Yes. Mr. Morgan, your special guest.
Well, we have a lot this evening, and I'd like to start us off with our students of the month. Our administrators to come forward to recognize our outstanding special guests here from each of our buildings.
I am very pleased to present Mr. Andrew Toth as the Buckeye Primary School Student of the Month. Ms. Passy, who I believe is here this evening, and Mrs. Mossville, who's worked with Andrew, she's here too, had these things to say about Andrew. Andrew is one of the most polite and respectful students I've had the pleasure of having in my classroom. He came to us as a new student this year and was able to easily transition to Buckeye. He always follows his Buckeye basics and sets a good example in the hallway and classroom. Andrew sets goals for how many dojo points he can try and earn in a day. What's the most you earn? 6,000? And as I'm talking, just kidding, that's me. He's made tremendous progress since the beginning of the year and continues to grow every day. Andrew has shared his love for maps during show and tell and keeps the teachers laughing with his sense of humor. I think we just saw that. We are so proud of Andrew and can't wait to see what he will accomplish in the future. And at home, I hear he likes to play Minecraft and Mario. And you have a new puppy? What's his name? Ruby. Congratulations, Andrew.
Good evening. I have Ayana Fazuli here. Ayana has attended Little Bucks Preschool for the past 2.5 years. She's helpful, compassionate, and has a great sense of humor. Ayana is always willing to help her peers and be a good friend. She has a kind heart and enjoys bringing out the best in people around her. She includes everybody in her play and will seek out new friends to join in the fun. Ayana works hard every day to do her best work, and she continuously makes me proud. It has been my privilege to teach Ayana the past couple years, and I will miss her as she goes into kindergarten. However, I am excited to see what adventures await her on her educational journey. Awesome job, and congratulations, Ayana, and that's from Mrs. Rogers, her preschool teacher.
Good evening. I'm Mr. Flood. I'm the principal of Buckeye Junior High, and with me this evening I have Kendra Hozak. She was chosen as our student of the month at the junior high. I ask every month for our teams to write up something about this student, and so this is what they had to say. Team 3 would like to nominate Kendra Hozak as our student of the month. Kendra has demonstrated an incredible work ethic from day one at the junior high, both inside the classroom and out. She is constantly focused on becoming the best student she can be. Along with this drive, her ability to be a problem solver will help her become, without a doubt, a very successful person outside of school. While striving to do this, she never seems to lose her focus on being a great friend for anyone, both inside her circle of friends and anyone who might need someone to lean on. This year, Kendra played both volleyball and basketball and is involved in Stand By Me at the junior high. Outside of school, she is very busy with her youth group, where she has helped out at food pantry, shelters, and has volunteered at numerous other opportunities. Her favorite thing about the junior high is the teachers and the fun and friendly environment. If given the opportunity to do anything she wants, Kendra stated that she would do it with her family. It is our absolute pleasure to have such a fantastic young woman in our building every single day. Kendra truly makes the junior high a better place with just her presence. We're so very proud of you. The entire staff knows how hard you've worked and will continue to work, but more importantly, we have witnessed the great person you are and will be. Congratulations.
Good evening. I am Jacob. I am the high school principal. Thank you all for being here this evening so we can recognize some of our students. It's going to be good practice for Sunday's commencement speech, having such a large audience. So it's a good tune-up for me, so thank you. We actually have 2 students here that we have an opportunity to recognize tonight. And I'm going to start with Joey DiBiasio. Unfortunately, Joey couldn't be here tonight, but I wanted to be at a moment to kind of recognize why he was selected. Joey was selected on the recommendation of several of his teachers. Joey is a graduating senior this year, and he has participated in one of our outstanding graphics programs over at MCCC. Joe has been cited as being someone who is a great character, an incredible work ethic, and somebody who is open and consistently ready to improve at every step of the way. He is a really delightful young man, and Joe actually made a very interesting decision. He is going to be graduating high school this year, but because he did a flip of his graphics program, because he was more interested in another one, he's coming back for another year to finish off the degree certification through MCCC. So he's so interested in pursuing that career in art moving forward. He decided to delay some of his post-secondary options to make sure he knows what he's doing, which is an unbelievable maturity for a man of his age. And I'm going to move over to our student who is here. She's a little shy, so I'm going to make her introduce herself.
Hi, Natalie.
Natalie is one of our outstanding sophomores at Buckeye High School. She is involved in so many different things, it's hard to list all of them. But most importantly, I think what stands out about Natalie is her commitment to her academics. When I was sitting down and talking with her this last week, I asked if she had any big plans for the weekend, if she was going to do anything, if she was going to prom. And she said, no, I have a really big chemistry test on Monday, so I'm going to plan on studying for that. So Natalie put the emphasis on academics first in all places. She's currently taking AP US History, taking some AP Gov next year, along with some CCP College Composition, which is College Credit Plus program, 1 and 2 next year as a junior. She has big ambitions. She's thinking about going to the University of Akron and possibly following in Dad's footsteps in studying law. Not 100% sure of that. She's currently involved in track, where she is a member of the 4x400 team. One of our girls got injured here in the last 11th hour, and Natalie stepped up and helped that team qualify for districts. So what an outstanding achievement that she had. She also played soccer this year, and I got to know Natalie first and foremost because she served as an educational aide to one of our teachers, Mr. Serio, and I'd constantly be watching her buzz around the hallways doing little tasks and jobs for Mr. Serio, and I couldn't believe how efficient she was. So next year I'm planning on recruiting her to the office and trying to get a little bit of that productivity out for us. So congratulations, Natalie. Thank you for being here.
Next up, I'd like to have Mr. Jeff Norris come up and talk to us about the outstanding efforts of our FFA members.
I was able to have 3 of my members with me tonight that received honors at our state convention first week of May. One member is still out of college in Wisconsin. Many of you may know her, Taylor Tomey, with the gymnastics program. This year she received a state and American FFA degree. And with me I have Caleb and Colette Emerson, both receiving the state FFA degree, which some of you may be familiar with the Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts programs and the different degrees and badges that they can earn through there. Those are about the same in the equivalent of the FFA world that these 2 received. The next step for them would be the American FFA degree that we have one kid receiving this year, which would be the equivalent of an Eagle Scout for our FFA members. And Austin, if you could step forward, please. This young man placed 3rd in the state in his proficiency area. His proficiency area was a small engine business, and he had the 3rd best one in the state. So overall, out of however many applicants they had this year, which I do not know, he was the 3rd best in the state. I do have to say, when he sat down after getting his award, he said, "I'm going to win state next year, and I'm going to nationals." So congratulations. Best over here. And then I do want to give you guys some insight on our FFA program and the agri-science program that we have going on and what things have happened this year throughout the program. This is my past president also, Polly Emerson, and she's going to help me assist because without my students I wouldn't be here being able to do the great things that are happening. So this year we've learned about our degrees, our awards, and hopefully future awards. This year we had 3 state degrees and 1 American degree. Next year we have potential for 5+ state degrees and 2+ American degrees. So some good things are happening here with our program. Hopefully getting some degrees in the hands of kids that deserve them. And I'm looking forward to that. Our proficiency award, Austin, again, he was 3rd in the state, so he was top 3. And he has a small engine business. Here's the Solutions small engine business. Located on Branch Road. If you ever need any business done, Austin's your guy. He can get it done for you. He currently has about 10 to 12 customers, and he's looking to increase that this next year. These are some pictures from state convention. We had 8 members attending with us. Austin with his proficiency display, him receiving his award, me with him, and then our chapter there in the top photo.
We also went to National FFA Convention, and there was 5 students that went to Indianapolis, the 91st one. We toured a lot of different places and learned more about the careers that could be offered to us after high school or that we could work towards. We went to the Ohio Heifer Center, Valero ethanol plant, and a chocolate factory. And we also went to a lot of sessions and heard great keynote speakers deliver lots of interesting messages. And we also went to the Career Show and Expo. We got to talk to colleges and seek more proficiencies and seek potential careers.
Here in this photo, this team right here placed 28th in the nation in a national FFA quiz. So that was pretty cool. In the top photo, we traveled with Riverview, Black River, and Loudonville FFA chapters. And behind us in that like tarp-like structure, that's an 8 million grain bushel holder for corn. That's what the ethanol plant produces every year. And then we had 2 American degree recipients at the past National FFA convention.
We went to state convention as well. That was like 2 weeks ago, and there was 8 students that went. We toured the Bucyrus United Producers Stockyard, which was really cool, and Crossroad Candle Factory. We went to Sky Zone and Magic Mountain for fun, and we had Austin receive 3rd in the state, and me, Taylor, and Caleb got our state degrees.
Some pictures from the event as well. Sorry, Ms. Councilman, your granddaughter was not the best at mini golf. She may have put it in the little pond thing that's there and tried to get it out, and it somewhat worked. But we enjoyed the trip. It was very fun. Thank you again to the Board of Education for allowing us to take these trips. We very much appreciate that. Career development events this year. Colleen will talk about some of the ones that we participated in.
We went to job interview, wildlife, general livestock, and outdoor power. And all of those are like centered around the subject. And you take an online test, and then you go do the hands-on part.
Job interview in the district, every student placed about 5th in the district. Several of which were just a few points shy of making to the state contest, the top 10 in the area of their division. That are job interview kids, wildlife, and our general livestock students as well. This year we had one student receive a $1,500 scholarship from the National FFA for the Ag Grows Leaders. Alex Cutts was that student. He's currently going to be a sophomore at the Ohio State University studying Ag Systems Management. This year at Fair, this is not complete yet. This is a work in progress. At our fair, we're redoing the FFA barn with the Black River FFA chapter. We're rehanging paneling in the barn. We're also, Buckeye FFA is going to be doing some landscaping in front of the barn to revive that. And then also, we're going to be showcasing student projects throughout the year in this barn at the fair, as well as students having animal projects there.
For community service, we started doing a recycling at the home football games, and we're looking to expand that next year to more events. And we're still always looking for new community service activities that we can participate in.
This year was one of the home football games. We always had a good turnout of students there to help greet the people to take in the cans and the bottles that they were willing to recycle at those.
FFA is also just more than agriculture, and so are all the courses that we offer. I learned a lot of speaking skills, and so did my peers. We learned financial literacy, which is extremely helpful, time management, other basic life skills, and a lot of safety as well.
How has the program grown throughout this school year alone? We have an up and running hydroponics system. Has not been used in several years. We've got that cleaned up and running. We cleaned up and made the shop more usable for our students, also more safe. The officers had more responsibility this year than in years past. We also have the addition of 2 new courses next year, relaunching the mechanical principles course and introducing a home improvement course, which has tremendous numbers and a great response from our students in the high school. We also have a new tractor restoration project, thanks to the school. We're looking to get a Ford 3000 up and running within the next year or two. And we also received a grant for growing for a brand new aquaponics system, so that way we can raise tilapia and lettuce all at the same time and produce some fresh food for some kids. So that's the tractor that we have to restore. And then this is our hydroponics system. in the early stages of getting it going. Now if you look at it, there's a bunch of green everywhere and plants are flourishing in that. Nothing has been introduced to the system except for sunlight and water. And what does our future look like? We have increased numbers. We're looking to always hopefully increase those. We have a higher rate of involvement currently than what there was in the past, and more diversified instruction. Maybe someday potential for a greenhouse and tying in with the greenhouses here. A new aquaponics system, more addition of some engines courses, and potential for landscaping courses are there as well. And that's all I have. Thank you very much. Thanks for attending tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Norris, and the students of the FFA. We're very impressed with the work that you've accomplished this year. We look forward to seeing more of your success in the years to come. Next up, I have a special recognition for the Ohio School Boards Association Business Honor Roll. And we're very honored to award this to Fit Incorporated. If Kyle Wagner and Jennifer Conley would come up, please. And Dave Parrish is going to kind of talk about some of the things they've done. They're a great partner with Buckeye Local Schools, and a lot of that has been attributed to the involvement they have with Dave Parrish and the CBI program. But this is a wonderful relationship that we want to encourage, and we're honored to be able to present this award to you today. So I'm going to let you kind of take it away.
We're really happy to have FIT in our school district. They're on Innovation Drive in the MTD industrial zone or industrial park. And even before I took over CBI, they had reached out to the school and they asked for a student to be involved with their program. They donated lights. We got new lights for the gymnasium through FIT. Jennifer's been on my advisory committee since the beginning. She's hired students that work for my program to work for them. And they've been on everything that I've asked for. Most recently, they've taken the third graders and the teachers. Next year, they're going to have the third graders in a field trip, and they're working on a curriculum and everything possible to make that field trip the best possible for the third graders to get fit with our teachers and our students, what we need as a school. And they set a good example for the rest of the businesses in manufacturing in the area. They've also jumped on board and set a good example for them. And when I go to their business, they have one of the highest retention rates of anybody in the area. They have a great relationship with their employees, and I'm always willing to recommend them for our students to work there because of that. And it's very outstanding. And then most recently, we're going to have a lunch and mingle we're starting that with our students and our administrators and their sponsors and also these next week. We really appreciate everything they do, and they support Buckeye Schools. They reach out. They're great neighbors, and we wish we could be as good a neighbors as they are. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next presentation is Girl Scout Troop 91006 to talk about their Silver Award project. Come on up.
Well, good evening, everyone. We're a hair bit unprepared for this. Our main presentation was last Thursday, where the Girl Scout Troop did their Silver Award, and for some context in this, when Girl Scouts do an award, we have to make the world a better place to live. So in our respect, and some of our FFA people might appreciate this, we built very large, I have the posters there, big butterfly cages. We built one for each garden, one in the primary and one in the secondary. That's so tall. The purpose is, of course, to teach our younger students, any students actually at Buckeye and the community of Buckeye, the playgrounds are open, are allowed to go in and view these. Once she gets Mrs. Barnhart and the Busy Bee Gardeners, I'm sure everyone's heard of them, sort of is the key person on this, we built these for her, is allowed to go in. We have some of the posters they did. Sorry, we're not high tech, we didn't do a PowerPoint. I made them do posters, remember those days? But but they're allowed to go in and see it. And the process is going through the eggs that she collects off the milkweed, hatching the butterflies in a safe thing, and once they hatch, we release them into our community. Sophia did a beautiful poster on the importance of butterflies, and we can get them out depending on the time limit here, how this is going. Get out our posters about everything we discovered from the life cycle, the importance of the pollinators to their migration patterns. Some beautiful artwork, it's all here. No, I'm not going to do it. We're not going to do it. We will be happy to hand these over to school, though they will become part of the permanent education program. But I want you to say we're so very proud of them. This is that they have to put in at least 50 hours to get their silver award. This program, we were actually registered. An advisor, that's why I'm their leader, can put them up for the silver award and say, oh yes, you did it, you got your silver award. These girls also got theirs registered because this was a massive undertaking. You know, for everyone who ever says, oh, it's all about crafts, I'm telling you, we crafted all right because we had to take bird aviaries and adapt them to become what Mrs. Barnhart was looking for. So all those things come into play. It's a great time working with dads, getting things done, so I always like that, you know, a little dad time with the daughters, but we'll have everything here for the school board, and then I'm sure you guys will pass it on to Mrs. Barnhart in elementary. This was a huge undertaking, and, you know, I like to eat. It shows butterflies, bees, all that in this community, in this world, make it possible for us to enjoy the food we do, and these girls took upon themselves, this was a serious thing, and it is something we can do to make a difference, and if we inspire another school district to go out and make this, think of every school did something like this, the difference we can make for the pollinators in our world. So this is a small group, we had 9 altogether, and I'd just like to say thank you to them, thank you to my parents, thank you to the school. I would love to introduce them. This is Emerson Allen, Isabella Violi, would you prefer Sammy or Samantha? Sammy Mendenhall, Sophia Heisey, Tegan Canero,
And Natalie Myers.
Natalie Myers. We are missing Michaela Serrano tonight, Lauren Wilson, and Liz Bergheimer, who could not be here. The joys of being a small school system is we have lots of opportunities and the kids are always busy. But I'd like you to bring around because of
Thank you very much for your donation, and we look forward to seeing the butterflies help our community. Thank you. Thank you, girls. Next up, we have our junior high science Olympiad. Come on up. Now, folks.
And I'm honored to be a part of our first ever junior high Science Olympiad team. This is a fabulous group of kids to work with. And if you haven't heard of Science Olympiad before, it's a national organization. There are 23 events that these kids compete in, and it is intense. They take college level tests. I think one of your tests is 30 pages. And some of the events are things like a roller coaster, where they have to build a roller coaster. And it's not until the day of event, in fact, 5 minutes before they have to run it, that they tell you exactly how long it has to take to go from start to finish. And it has to be completely modifiable and changeable, and they have to run tests on it and know exactly what it's going to do as predicted. One of the things was a thermodynamics event, where they had to build a device that would insulate this hot water that they were given. And not only that, but they had to run enough tests on it to be able to predict where that temperature of that water would end up after 25 minutes. So it took a month of testing for our device, and I'm happy to say that they ended up within 0.2 degrees of where they were supposed to be.
And this team, I'm proud to say, not only went to regionals, but made state. And not only did they make state, but when we made state, we were second in our region there at state, and we have some awards to bring home from the state too. But I'd like to call out their names because this is important. They are fabulous kids. So wave your hand when I call out your name. There's some people who aren't here, but I want to make sure they are all named. Deborah Morawski, Sandra Delata, Max Lococo, Trista Abbey, wait nice and high so we can really see you. Trista Abbey, Alec Pike, Maeve Craig, Audrey Graham, Paige Mazinski, Marissa Zemer, Denise Woofter, Dimitri Lippert, Johnny Pitts, Emily Maddock, Nick Kutz, Tyler Bricker, Jen Shepard, Melina Cassida, Andrew Coleman, Justin Hoshauer, Savannah Kemp, Dylan Smuds, Kyle Banaga, Anthony Fruck, Nicole Lawrence, Ian Mason, and Dylan Bell. They did an absolutely fabulous job this year. And I need to say, this couldn't have happened without the community. Because as soon as we put out the call that we needed help, 23 events at a pretty high level is very difficult. And I sent a message out, and there were a bunch of people from the community who are experts in their field who came together to help us and coach these kids. So Mr. Hoshauer in engineering, when you hear your name, would you stand up? I'm going to make you be recognized too. Mr. Hoshauer in engineering, Dr. Hoshauer, who's a doctor of neuroscience, She's at home with kids. Mrs. Maddock, Mr. Maddock, Mrs. Woofter, Mrs. Kuntz, Mr. Delata, stand up, Mr. Pavia, Mr. Morawski in computer programming, Mrs. Morawski in public health, Mrs. Pitts in chemistry, and just an all-around amazing person because she's done science Olympiad before, and Mr. Gerdeman in flight. So all of these people that you have here gave generously of their time for all the times that we needed to meet together, and we're just so thankful for them. And of course, these kids did well at state, and I need to call out a special one. Paige Mazinski and Kyra Bricker placed third in the state in anatomy and physiology and cardiovascular systems and others. So you did a fantastic job. We have to thank the Buckeye Education Foundation who funded this adventure, and we're so grateful for the grants that they give out for the good of our kids. They really do some excellent work, and we're thankful for the Buckeye Education Foundation and for all of your support. So thank you, and thank you, kids. We're so proud of you and all that you bring this year.
And our last student group here is our junior high Ruth Goldberg team.
The Ruth Goldberg team, I don't think they're here. I think there's some of you, aren't there? Yeah, Ruth Goldberg team is, I'm not prepared for this. But junior high put out a Ruth Goldberg team. It's a fascinating opportunity provided by Goodyear for some of our STEM, and we fielded 2 teams at the junior high, and one of those teams placed second. It's fabulous that Goodyear sponsors this. It ended up actually winning the school $2,000 for our program, so we're very, very grateful. And there's some kids over here who were on that Ruth Goldberg team. Would you stand up? So they do a lot of extra work. Now, here's the point in the meeting where we take a little break so we can take some photo ops of our students of the month and some of our other groups. And Ms. Calvin, we're going to start with students of the month, right?
Please.
Over here by the Buckeye box banner. We'll bring this meeting back together and we are ready for the treasurer's report.
Recommend that the Buckeye Board of Education accept the treasurer's report as presented, including all internal budgets, submitted certificates, and appropriations to the county auditor, as on file in the treasurer's office. A copy of the report is attached to the board members' agenda. good thing the kids left. They might be very bored with such an invigorating presentation on finance here. This is the May update. So the purpose of the 5-year forecast is annually in October and May. The Ohio Revised Code requires you to file a 5-year forecast with the Ohio Department of Education. Next year, it's actually November 30th in May. All the same, you do it 2 times a year. So your May one is much more cursory, just a where do you think you're going to finish the end of this year at. The October one is a little bit more indicative because it's taking you 1 year out further than what you currently are in this May update. It includes 3 years of actual history or data, and it includes 5 years of projections that are based on assumptions known today, right now at, well really this was last Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock when I was done with it. So, and this is just a snapshot of where we are right now. And what we're trying to do is capture all the needs of the district, where we're heading, where we're going, what do we want to do, and how do you afford all those things in it. So the difference between forecasted and actual at times could be very material and impact future forecasts. So it's really important for me to know why we're off, if we're off. So when we close a year or finish a year, if I'm off in a specific line, it's very important for me to know why, so that we can make sure that we're addressing it if it needs addressed, or if it's positive, try to keep that positive energy going that way. So important to note though is this is only general and emergency levy funds. So this is just our general operating. It does not include any student funds like 200 accounts for student activities, athletics, food service, any grant monies, any federal funds. So just general and emergency levies. We anticipate that we'll receive increases in fiscal years 20 to 23 state budgets. But we have 2 different budgets under current review in the state legislature. House Bill 66, which was now replaced with Sub-House Bill 66, and Cup Patterson. But right now in May, I have nothing to really go on to alter this forecast significantly on state aid because we don't know where it's going to end up. So we will make those adjustments in November when I have the data. It's too early to know which way they're going to go, and they both are vastly have different quirks in them, so we'll see what comes through with it. Both of them, though, are really trying to address certain areas that funding hasn't traditionally addressed, such as student mental health, student wellness, and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see where that settles in the dust. And I have no assumptions or projections for the Nexus pipeline. Mr. Stahl. We have no assumptions or projections for that. We have nothing from the county auditor yet to tell us or to certify any kind of funds coming in, which is really behind schedule because we anticipated our first collection to be next year. It doesn't appear to be so. I'm actually going to the county auditor to meet with her, the deputy auditor, tomorrow to kind of go over some things with her too. So I might have more of a better idea, but as of now, the county auditor has told us leave it out, don't plan on it yet. Revenue versus expenditure, you can see these different lines. So your revenue is blue, expenditures are red. You're going to see that where we're crossing isn't actually this fiscal year, so right now. So we're bringing in what we spend, or we're spending what we're bringing in this year. And next year we project deficit spending, meaning we're going to spend more than we're bringing in, which is very traditional in the levy cycle. So as we go through these next 5 to 7 years, you're going to see the levy cycle really taking hold as to when you're going to need to look for potentially new operating money, but certainly the renewal of the emergency levy when that comes about. So, and then you're going to see the green is cash balance. So this graph is very typical of what you would see and what we expect to see based on the data. Ending cash balance, you need a 30 to 60 day cash balance as your minimum target to end each year, and you cannot file with a negative deficit. So you can't have less than 0 as required by Ohio law. So this particular forecast is still right on track to where we thought it to be. Estimated general revenue fund sources. So you can see our local sources, which is property taxes, other local, that is 63.2%, whereas our state sources or state aid is only 36. So you can see the financial burden of our district is really on our community and local sources. So we are considered a wealthy district at the state level. So current funding is we get 27% of every dollar that's allocated. So of the $6,020, we're only getting 27% of that from state aid. So it's not what many people think when they read, well, you're getting $6,000 per kid. We're getting 27% of the $6,020. per kid, except on open enrolled. So our current state budget, we're on a guarantee, which means we can't get less than a previous fiscal year. So local versus state, just kind of showing you that the burden continues to be on us locally. And you can see with the graph how the state has actually trended downward here. So the major contributing of the loss of state funding is the tangible personal property tax, which is burdensome to every district in Ohio. Talmadge actually finally got their levy passed, and their problem was exactly that, the loss of TPP. So could be pretty significant, and you have to be creative and find other ways to get money, or have to unfortunately go back to community and ask for additional support. Operating revenue overview here, we anticipate that we will receive increases in the 20 to 23 state budgets under one or the other. We just don't know. Assessed values are expected to increase through fiscal 23, and this current year, 2019, is our reappraisal year. So once we see what our Schedule B, which is telling us how much money we get from county auditor, that'll be interesting to see how much appraisal changes assessed value in our district, because your levy dollars are connected to that assessed value. So, and again, amount of pipeline is unknown, not included. And if we collect all the local taxes, we estimate that we're on target to be financially secure through this forecast. On the expense side, which is the opposite side, you're going to see that we spend most of our money on salary and benefits. Wages and benefits are 79.3%, and the state average is 74%. So we're a little above the state average with what we pay in salary and benefits. And then you can see the other areas are very small. So this graph is not as easy to see, but it gets pretty convoluted if you're trying to do multiple bars. But just the costs are expected to continue to rise in the long term, and you can see that it's going to be mainly in salary and benefits that we're increasing, but even our purchase services are projected to go up. Salaries and supplies and purchase services, those are going to be your cost of inflation and your cost of your CPI and that kind of thing affecting it, which is consumer price index, versus salary and benefits. Those are controlled through contractual agreements within the district. So in summary of where we're at right now, too hard to predict state funding and state aid. You have 2 state bienniums in the next 5 years. I don't have any new state funding in current state budget to increase property value, reflecting we're a wealthy district. So based on our category, I just feel like we're going to leave that flat for right now, particularly for the May collection, or for the May submittal, and we can see what we need to do for November. Local tax collections are increasing, and I want to point out that we did collect more in the general property tax line, and that was based on new construction, which is taxed at full millage. So we had more new construction than I would have ever known to predict. And we also have increase in general, the restricted aid, which is economic disadvantage and career tech, was up a smidge. And we also have more in Medicaid reimbursements than we did last year. So our revenue was up a little bit more than I expected to be, which is good. Our salaries are tracking where we want them to be. Benefits are tracking high. So are purchase services. So in the wash, we were able to, the highlight of this May forecast submission is that we were able to avoid deficit spending this fiscal year. And last year I had said we would be in deficit spending this year. So the way things all went out, that was a good thing to have happen to us. And we're aggressively trying to monitor and stretch funds as best as we can, and probably every principal and supervisor in the room would attest that I am really trying to hold budgets pretty tight. So to try to help us stretch our money as far as we can for as long as we can. So this particular forecast, if it ends where I believe it to end, we will be within 0.5% of accuracy. So on such a large budget, that is very, very good. So the November one will be more indicative than this May one, but that's where we look to end right now. Any questions from the board?
The capital expense, the one bar,
Yes.
had that increasing.
Because we weren't sure what the HVAC need would be in the district. So we do have some allocated if we can't handle the sales tax. But obviously we prefer to use that first. Oh, I'm taking the clicker with me. You might need that for the next person. Continuing on, now we would like to approve the forecast. Recommend that the Buckeye Board of Education.
No.
Yep, did I already read the recommendation for approval? I thought I stopped in the home. Go ahead, I did read that. Recommend that the Buckeye Board of Education approve the 5-year forecast as presented and copies attached to the board members' agendas as Appendix B. And then acceptance of the grant on behalf of the FFA program. Recommend that the Buckeye Board of Education accept the grant for growing from the National FFA program for our local FFA chapters in the amount of $4,511. Letter D, property liability and employee health insurance. Authorize the treasurer to enter into a contract and issue payment on behalf of the Buckeye Local School District for fiscal year 20 school year for property liability and employee health benefit insurances. And then back to the acceptance of the grant. Mr. Norris already covered it earlier. I asked him if he would please speak to it on the aquaponics so that he would know what it is. He was much more excited and knowledgeable about it. So we are excited that that's coming through, and the kids are excited to get that going.
All right, a motion, please. Second. Any questions or comments on any of these items in the treasurer's report? All right, then roll call.
Stahl?
Yes.
Havarchi?
Yes.
Benson?
Yes.
Fargo?
Yes.
Councilman?
Yes. Public participation. The public is invited to speak to any of the agenda items and other school topics. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Direct questions will not be answered by the Board of Education members at this time. However, answers will be given at a later date as appropriate. Is there anyone who wishes to speak this evening?
Lady in the balcony.
Okay, Mr. Matson, you didn't say anything that I'm coming here to complain about. I always get nervous when my hand goes up. No, I'm just here to say this is probably it is my last board meeting that I'll be attending. I'll be ending my 30-year career, a little over 30-year career in a couple weeks. And I'll be ending my 60 years of being in the Buckeye community, hopefully within the next couple months when I'll be leaving. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank the board, it wasn't this board, but to thank the Buckeye board for hiring me over 30 years ago to give me the chance to work with students. And hopefully I was able to reach a lot of them and help them become independent individuals. Mr. Jacobs, Joey DiBiasio was my student. And I could have told you he would have went into graphic arts. That kid could draw the best dresses of anybody in 6th grade. It was fantastic. But I just wanted to say thank you. It's been a pleasure, and I hope the Buckeye community continues to support our school system.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who has information or comments for the board tonight? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to the superintendent's informational items.
Thank you. We have 2 administrative presentations this evening. I'd like to have Mr. Harrington come forward.
Tom Harrington, I'm the athletic director here in Buckeye. Just like to share all the great things that are going on in our athletic department, specifically in our winter season. Currently, we are in first place for the last year of the All-Sport Cup. Looking at our spring teams right now, it looks as if we're going to retain it, which would be nice because we don't ever have to give it back. It can stay with us forever since we're switching conferences. So we're excited about that. Our bowling team had an outstanding year, and as we go through this, you're going to see a lot of stuff that happens at the bowling alley, on the court, at the gymnastics meets, and as far as kids' accomplishments. But I also want to take a moment and I've been in 2 different districts, and I wanted to speak specifically, just generally about the kids whose names are not on there, We're going to talk about some of the highlights, but one of the things that impresses me about all of our student athletes is what great teammates we have. Even the kids that don't necessarily get this type of recognition, we have some truly outstanding kids throughout our athletic team. So I just wanted to make a mention to that. For bowling, Zach Radon bowled at 279 for his high individual game. That's incredible because I bowled over spring break and 3 games I didn't get to 279. So that's incredible, and he's going to be back next year. We also had the most improved bowler in the conference, Ben Herman, and Buckeye has had the most improved in the conference for the last 3 years. So that's certainly outstanding. And as you can see, our team GPA, this is for boys and girls, was a 3.209. On the girls' side, our high individual game was Nicole Figueroa. She bowled a 180. And then Lexi Anzavino had a 704 handicap series and received a second place scholarship. So our girls also had a great season. Wrestling had the sweep. They won the dual championship. They won the PAC tournament championship. And Coach Conklin was the coach of the year. We had several first teamers: Logan Kravatis, Eddie Pence, Trevor Badu. Second team, Tanner Tecco, Anthony Ashley. Third team, Dylan Dotson, Joe Maitland, Kate Breslick, and Austin DiBiasio. And then honorable mention, Katie Vogt Shield. Our wrestling team is young, and we also have a tremendous 7th and 8th grade group coming up. So look for some great things from our wrestling program here in the years to come. We had several district qualifiers: Logan Kravatis, Eddie Pence, Preston DeMarco, Anthony Ashley, Dylan Dotson, Trevor Badu, Joe Maitland, and Austin DiBiasio. And then we had 2 state qualifiers, Eddie Pence and Anthony Ashley. And a lot of those kids, like I said, are returning next year. They're a very young team, so we're excited about that. Our girls basketball team, I didn't mention their GPA, 3.226. So you'll see all of our winter sports were over 3.0. Our girls team GPA, 3.671. Overall record of 20-4, undefeated in the conference, and Coach Clady was Coach of the Year. Grace Allen was first team in the conference, an honorable mention, all district and all county for the Gazette. Gabby Glancy was first team and also honorable mention in all district for the county and Gazette. And then Sydney Bell and Madison Ross were second team, with Madison also receiving honorable mention in the county, and Elizabeth Whetstone was honorable mention for our conference. Our cheerleaders, easily forgotten at athletic events, but they do so much to enhance the atmosphere of it. Our JV over the summer came in second place at a huge camp at Bowling Green. They received the Tradition Award, which is for basically, it identifies schools that traditionally over years do a great job. And this is the second year in a row that we've won that. And then something new this year, I know Mr. Jacob, I gotta give him credit for this one. He spoke with our cheerleading coach about decorating the cafeteria on Thursday nights, and that was a nice surprise every Friday morning for our student athletes. And their team GPA was 3.184. A lot of people don't know this. We have a diver. Morgan Baclar was 15th in Ohio for Division II. Honor roll with 11 dives. This is every single Division II diver in Ohio, and this is the 3rd year in a row that she was a district finalist. So we want to make sure that we acknowledge her. Our boys basketball team had a successful season. Team GPA of 3.339. 20-4 overall. We were also the conference champs. We had the conference MVP in Brock Brumfield. He was also second team all district and ton of accolades, honorable mention all state. We have the hoopla, which you'll see some pictures from in a little bit. He was the MVP of that. That was all of the county seniors, and he was also an all-star for the Greater Cleveland Basketball Coaches Association and first team all Gazette. Brock's going to be going to Allegheny to play basketball and continue his education as well. Michael Knoll, first team all conference, second team all district. honorable mention All-State, and a Greater Akron All-Star, and Greater Cleveland All-Star, and also All-Gazette. And Mike has several colleges after him right now, and he's still trying to make his decision. So hopefully we'll know that shortly. Anthony Watkins was second team All-Pac, honorable mention All-District for the second year in a row. Also All-Gazette, and he's going to lead Buckeye as the all-time leader in steals. So that's a tremendous accomplishment. And then Cameron Imes was honorable mention All-Pac. Gymnastics, another pretty young team. This is their first year returning as a school-sponsored sport. I know they were excited about that. They steadily improved throughout the season. They had a very high team GPA of 3.795, and Madison Mears was a district qualifier. So I know that they're optimistic about their seasons moving forward. And then overall, you can see, you put all of our GPAs together, our athletes had a 3.404. So our kids, like I said, not only are they teammates, they do a lot in their competition, and they do a tremendous job in the classroom as well. So we want to make sure we recognize that. This was Buckeye's turn to host the Medina County Hoopla, which is sponsored by the Brunswick Rotary Club, and it rotates to the county schools every year. Each school in the county takes a turn. It was our turn this year, and we hosted both the boys and the girls games. We also want to give some recognition. This was over the winter. We had, for our winter athletes and parents, a former Buckeye student athlete, Eli Cross, came in to speak. He's a member of the St. Louis Cardinals farm organization for Major League Baseball. And Eli was a tremendous student athlete here. Came back to Buckeye to talk about leadership, how to deal with adversity, and how to take advantage of opportunity. And I know our kids and our parents loved it who attended, so I want to make sure that we recognize him. And then we had our signing day. We have over 14 kids who have committed to play a sport and continue their education in college. So congratulations to all of them. And that is it. Thank you for your attention. And like I said, we're moving conferences, and I hope at the next board meeting that I come to, we have that cup. Maybe I'll bring it. So thank you.
And next we have Janice Kohler.
All right, good evening. Janice Kohler, gifted coordinator, data coach for the district. I just want to give a little gifted update. So I want to talk about some of the student opportunities we had this year, some of our staff opportunities, and then I'll give an update on the gifted indicator, since that's on our report card now, and where we stand as a district. So this is probably pretty small to read, but we had a lot of things going on with our students this year, so I apologize. I want to thank the Education Foundation for sponsoring advanced placement scholar signs. We had 16 students recognized, and if you were at the, I think I did that in October at the board meeting, we had those students come. Even though some of those 16 students had moved on to their freshman year of college, we recognized them here at the board meeting. And then the students that still attend Buckeye in January, Jen Wish, the AP coordinator, myself, and Mr. Jacob went to the homes of those students and placed these in the yards for those families to be recognized. We had the 24 tournament for fourth graders. If there's any parents in the district that had fourth graders, you may have played that at your kitchen table many nights. And we actually had a student from Buckeye here, Katie Shear. She was third place overall in the county for all of the fourth graders, which is incredible. Our spelling bee students, Tyler Gilbert, we recognized him as well here at the board meeting. He went on to the Akron Regional Bee. This was the second year that we have had a qualifier to move on to the Akron Regional Bee, which is awesome. Invention League, which we do in grades 4, 5, and 6. At the end of this month, I am super excited. I will be traveling to Dearborn, Michigan on May 31st to see Alexa Madiak and Alexa Rundle. They are 7th graders currently at the junior high. they are competing nationally with their invention. And I brought them to this board meeting last year. They had the Carbon Cleaner 1.0, and they went to the state fair last summer, and they were fifth place out of every student in the state. And they were invited to the nationals, and so they will be competing with that same invention, like I said, at the Henry Ford Museum at the end of May, which is super exciting. And then we have 3 inventions heading down this June, and I didn't bring those kiddos tonight, but this is our little video.
Congratulations to the students at Buckeye Intermediate School who participated in Invention League. Our first participant is Maya Galdun. She created the Cutesy Tootsie Creature Case. She will be participating in the Ohio State Fair.
Okay, hi, my name is Maya, and my problem was my glasses kept getting knocked off my nightstand and I kept losing them. So I created Cutesy Tootsie Creature Cases. And they're a glasses case that looks like a stuffed animal, and you put your glasses inside them, and they keep them safe all through the night, and it looks like a stuffed animal, so it's kid-friendly and not all boring.
Next up is Eliana Newman. She created Ice Dam Be Gone, and she will also be participating in the Ohio State Fair.
My name is Eliana Newman, and my problem was ice dams keep forming and it causes a lot of damage to rivers and cities. So I invented the Ice Dam Be Gone, and what it does is it keeps the water moving so it won't freeze and cause ice dams.
Our third participants are John Galeta and Nolan King-Bell, who created the Ice to Scooper and will also be participating in the Ohio State Fair.
Hi, my name is John.
And my name is Nolan.
And we have a question for you. Has your car ever had frozen locks, icy windows, or windshields?
Then we can stand again with Ultimate on
the Ice Scraper Pro.
When the car is wet outside and freezing rain is often difficult to scrape ice up the windshield and windows. The locks on the car can also freeze and you can lock out of your car.
Our invention helps solve that problem by helping to de-ice the windows by using the de-icer fluid inside of the bottle on there, and the ice scraper helps scrape off the ice off your windows and windshield. We used 2 prototypes during this process while we were doing it. We had we used Nolan's prototype, the larger spray bottle filled with de-icing fluid with an attached scraper on the end of it to scrape the ice off your windows and windshields.
And then we used John's prototype, the smaller spray bottle and foam grips filled with de-icing fluid with an attached grip and then a keychain cap.
Last but not least is Cody Eddy, who was Buckeye Intermediate's People Choice Award.
My name is Cody Eddy, and my invention is the Kidtainment Center. My problem was that kids would fight when you were going to grandma's house, and with this you can, let's say, play a show or a movie when you were going. So what this is a suitcase that I cut a cardboard box out of. I put a tiny flashback, a Roku 2, and a TV into the cardboard box, and down below the box is a lithium-ion battery.
Congratulations to all these students and keep on inventing.
The end of July, Cody was the People's Choice Award, and I think by seeing his invention, you can see why the kids voted for it, right? I mean, and it's got an Atari flashback, so props to him. But those other 3 teams will be heading down to the state competition, and we're hoping for some more national competitors coming out of that. Moving on to opportunities for staff this year, talking about some professional development for gifted. We did an online spring book study group, and I actually partnered with the gifted coordinator over at Medina City, and it was really exciting because our 8 teachers that participated here from Buckeye were able to do an online learning community with Medina City teachers, and the discussions that they had between the services that we offer there and the ideas, it was fantastic. The state requires 60 hours of gifted training over the course of 4 years. I'm excited to say that we are ahead of schedule in this district. We have over half of our teachers that are already done with the hour requirement within 3 years, and we will have 100% of the current staff providing services. We should be done providing services. We just have to go to the state says we have to do ongoing PD, so during the year, but we will have already, those teachers, a lot of them have done a lot on their own, which is awesome. This summer, I'm offering another book study, When Gifted Kids Don't Always Have the Answers. It will have a social-emotional focus. And I'm super excited because we have a few teachers that have signed up that don't currently serve gifted students that are interested in learning more about that population. So I think that's really exciting. Ms. Knapp allowed me into her building on, I don't know, it was usually Thursday mornings. Once a month we did a gifted coffee chat. And those were open to the entire staff to come and learn some strategies, and we had quite a few teachers take us up on that. And I was super excited. I worked with Jen Wish at the high school this year. We were part of the AP pilot for the new AP resources for teachers and students, which allowed teachers to do a lot of test prep with their students, and students could access a lot of things online. And we were the only district really in this region. I think the closest one, what did I tell you, Christina, wasn't it Mayfield or something? I think that was the closest district to us that was given this opportunity. So that is something to celebrate as well. Moving on to the most exciting part, right, is the report card, so the gifted indicator. When you're looking at the state report card and gifted indicator, there are 3 pieces that go into the indicator itself. We have value added, and the state requires a grade of a C. The performance index, which is the expected is 117 points, and the input points, the expected is 80. So where are we at? For value added, we met that part of the report card. And down here on each of these slides, I did put where we had been the previous school year. So we had earned a C prior to that. So again, value added, the idea is our students learning a year's worth of knowledge in a year's worth of time. And they're only measuring the gifted students, the identified gifted students in the district. And thinking about gifted learners, it's hard to always extend their thinking and their knowledge a year's worth of stuff and a year's worth of time, and we have consistently been able to do that. The performance index comes as a result of the state testing. We are given points based on where our students are scoring. Our advanced plus students, that's any student that is subject accelerated or grade accelerated, and they are scoring at the highest levels on our state tests. You see that's where the majority of our identified students are scoring. This is our score. This was what was expected, was 117, and they won't round it. I called and they said no. But I'm super excited because if you look, in 2017, we were at 114.8. This was the largest jump that we have seen historically in this district, which is a huge credit to our teaching staff and what they are doing with our gifted students. So that is to be credited completely to our teachers. Input points. Input points are calculated based on your, this is the quick version, what percentage of your population is identified gifted? What percentage of your population are you currently serving? So the interesting part about input points, it's not like we have any control over that. We do whole grade testing, But we put our services in place, but we can't just identify kids to be gifted just because we want to meet these input points. So we are given a percentage of how much of your population is identified, and then what percentage of your students are receiving services. And I'll remind you that parents do have the choice to elect to take our services. And if they choose not to take the services, we can't code them as served. So we do the best we can to make sure that we are talking to parents about the services that we offer and encouraging them to place their students in our programs. It also has to do with what percentage of your students identified are economically disadvantaged, also minority students. So there's a lot of things that are kind of out of our control, that it's just based on our general population. But they add up all of these points, and they want us to have 80. They want us to have 80. And we are at 59 input points. But last year, we were only at 50. So we did increase our input points, but again, some of those things, we did increase our services, so that has helped. And again, we're still identifying students in grades 2 and 4, whole grade, and parents can always refer students for testing as well. Do you have questions for me? I know that was fast, but everybody's been here a long time, so I was trying to be quick, but I hope I made sense. So do you have any questions for me as the board? Yeah? Okay. All right then.
Thank you.
All right.
We have some important dates. We had a number of them occur last week with our School Bus Driver Appreciation Day, our National Teacher Appreciation Day, and our National School Nurse Appreciation Day. We want to thank each of those employee groups that provide awesome services for us every day. We also had hosted some staff breakfasts for staff appreciation last Thursday at the junior high, last Friday at the elementary building, and we are going to be doing the high school on Friday of this week. We had prom last week, and that was a very successful and enjoyable evening. And we do have an event this week on Thursday at the Gloria. It's going to be at Buckeye High School at 7 o'clock. And then on Sunday, we have 2 o'clock at Grace Baptist Church in Brunswick. Will be our graduation. And then, sadly, our last school day for students is May 30th, and our last day for teachers is May 31st. Reminder about the Women's Day Bunch Employee of the Year nominations. We have a link on our webpage. Please submit for the Employee of the Year. Our deadline is May 30th, 2019. Recap of our Craig Bailey Memorial 5K Fun Run and 1 Mile Fun Walk, which was last Saturday. We had 106 participants in the community, both male and female. Had pretty good weather. It wasn't rainy, but it was perfect for running conditions. We had a good turnout. We do not know how much the BEF raised on that yet, but that was a very well attended event. And I just wanted to highlight that our recognition for the resident educators, those are our newest teachers into the field. They have some requirements they have to meet to keep their license and to renew their license. And we have been very successful with our resident educators in having all of our resident educators qualify and meet whichever year they're in. They've met the criteria, and we are doing very well in preparing and supporting our teachers. And so we thank our educators, our mentors, as well as the teachers that we have employed through our evaluation or our interview system. Superintendent's recommendations. Item A, Summer Preschool Enrichment Program. Recommend Buckeye BOE Education approve extended year of services for approximately 3 to 6 special needs students for a total of $650 per student. The Summer Enrichment Program is provided through the Educational Service Center of Nevada County for summer preschool during the 2018-19 school year. A copy of the service contract will be attached to board members' agendas as Appendix C. Item B, approval of the ESC Medina County Summer Enrichment Program. Recommend Buckeye BOE Education approve extended year services for 5 to 8 special needs students for the 2018-19 summer school for a total of $1,250 per student. The Summer Enrichment Program is provided by Medina County ESC. A copy of the service contract will be attached to board members' agendas as Appendix D. Item C, approval of Summer Reinforcement Program. Recommend the Buckeye BOE Education approve the Summer Reinforcement Program for 2 to 5 students for the 2018-19 summer school year for a total of $400 per student, with an additional $50 for optional speech services. A copy of the service contract will be attached to board members' agendas as Appendix E. Item D, approval of Kids First Transition Opportunity Program TOPS agreement. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the Summit ESC Kids First TOPS program agreement for one Buckeye student for the 2018-19 extended summer school year for a total of $2,000. A copy of the agreement will be attached to board members' agendas as Appendix F. Item E, approval of the OHSAA membership. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the adoption of the attached resolution authorizing membership for the 2019-20 school year with the Ohio High School Athletic Association. A copy of the resolution is attached to board members' agendas as Appendix G. Item F, agreement with School Point. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the agreement with School Point to approve their website hosting proposal for Buckeye local schools effective June 2019. The additional fee is $5,500 with a $3,500 yearly fee. A copy of the agreement is attached to board members' agendas as Appendix H. Item G, agreement with Medina County Career Center. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the satellite program standards and maintenance agreement between Buckeye local schools and Medina County Career Center to implement career technical education program. Copy of the agreement is attached to board members' agendas as Appendix I. Item H, LEA contract with Medina County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the LEA contract between Buckeye local schools and the Medina County Board of Developmental Disabilities. A copy of the agreement is attached to board members' agendas as Appendix J. Item I, STEP ESY contract with Medina County Board of Developmental Disabilities. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the STEP ESY contract between Buckeye local schools and Medina County Board of Developmental Disabilities. A copy of the agreement is attached to board members' agendas as Appendix K. Item J, approval of school fees. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the Buckeye pre-K through 8th grade student fees for the 2019-20 school year. Copy of the fee list is attached to board members' agendas as Appendix L. Item K, agreement with Camp New Hop. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the 2019 agreement with Camp New Hop in Marysville, Ohio for the Buckeye Intermediate 6th grade class. The educational outdoor camp dates are October 7th through 9th, 2019 with a cost of $147.50 per student. Copy of the agreement is attached to board members' agendas as Appendix M. Item L, approval of MOU. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the memorandum of understanding between the Buckeye Board of Education and the Buckeye Local Education Association for the 2019-20 OTES pilot agreement. A copy of the MOU is attached to board members' agendas as Appendix N. Item M, approval of MOU. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the memorandum of understanding between the Buckeye Board of Education and the Buckeye Local Education Association for the 2019-20 pay agreement. A copy of the MOU is attached to board members' agendas, Appendix O. Item N, approval of MOU. Resolve the Buckeye Board of Education approve the paraprofessional memorandum of understanding between the Buckeye Board of Education and Ohio Association of Public School Employees Local 216, pending OPSI ratification. A copy of the MOU is attached to the board members' agenda as Appendix P. Item O, overnight field trip. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the overnight field trip for the Buckeye Junior High and High School cheerleaders to Ada, Ohio. The 3-day trip is scheduled for July 26th to 29th, 2019. Estimated cost of the trip is $356 per student. There is no additional cost to the district. A copy of the request is attached to board members' agendas, Appendix Q. Item P, final reading of the following policies. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education consider the policies listed below as presented. Copies of the complete policies are attached to board members' agendas as Appendix R. Number 1, Policy 2261, Title I Services, and Number 2, Policy 2261.01, Parent and Family Member Participation in Title I Programs. Letter Q, final reading of student curriculum. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education review the Wonders program for adoption for 4th and 5th grade. A copy of the price quote summaries attached to board members' agenda as Appendix S. Item R, approval of administrative salary schedule. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the Buckeye administrative salary schedule as submitted. A copy of the schedule is attached to board members' agendas as Appendix T. Item S, approval of exempt staff salary schedule. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the Buckeye exempt staff salary schedule as submitted. A copy of the schedule is attached to board members' agenda as Appendix U. Item T, job description approval. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the attached job description for the Technology Assistant Coordinator position. A copy of the description is attached to the board members' agenda as Appendix B. Item U, preschool student handbook. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the preschool student handbook for the 2019-20 school year as submitted. A copy of the handbook is attached to the board members' agenda as Appendix W. And item B, service contract, recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the equipment maintenance agreement with ACCO Brands for the primary laminating machine. A copy of the agreement is attached to the board member's agenda as Appendix X.
A motion on these items, please. Second? Second. Any questions or comments on any of these items in the superintendent's recommendations? Roll call.
Manson?
Yes.
Archie?
Yes.
Stahl?
Yes.
Barco?
Yes.
Gunkel?
Yes. New business?
New business, item A is first reading of student curriculum. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education review the sociology book and course of study adoption. A copy of the curriculum will be attached to board members' agendas as Appendix Y. And item B, first reading of student curriculum. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education review the attached courses of study adoption. Number 1, Algebra 2A. Item 2, CPE, Chemistry, Physical Science, and Environmental Science. Item 3, Geography, and number 4, Street Law. A copy of the curriculum will be attached to the board members' agenda as Appendix Z.
And personnel?
Item A, certified personnel, recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the following certified personnel items as presented. Number 1, employment, recommend that the Buckeye Board of Education approve to hire Nicole Scheitzow, art teacher for Buckeye Elementary, effective August 19th, 2019, for the 2019-20 school year, pending pre-employment requirements. Ms. Scheitzow will be paid for the negotiated agreement at Master Step 5.
A motion, please.
Motion.
Second?
Second.
And I believe she's in attendance.
She is, and I would like Ms. Knapp to go ahead and introduce our new art, will soon be new art teacher.
I would love to. Thank you, Mr. Morgan. This is Nicole. We are super excited to have her here. Dawn and I are both excited to bring her to our staff. Her energy, creativity is going to be a great fit for Buckeye. So I'll let you speak on where you're coming from and all that sort of stuff.
I came from Brunswick, actually. So I was at Brunswick High School for 12 years. And I did my student teaching at Kelsley Elementary, and that love for elementary just kind of never left me, and I've loved it ever since. So I have my undergrad from Kent State University and a master's degree from Kent State as well. So I'm very excited to be joining the team. Thank you.
I think she has staying powers since she made it through the whole board meeting. Roll call.
Stahl?
Yes.
Barco?
Yes.
Manson?
Yes.
Archie?
I must abstain due to a conflict. Ms. Nicole is by marriage.
Gunkel?
Yes.
Item 2, intent to terminate. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education consider the superintendent's recommendation that the board consider the intent to terminate Michael Bradley. A copy of the recommendation is attached to the board member's agenda as Appendix AA.
A motion, please.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Any questions or comments on this? Roll call.
Archie?
Yes.
Stahl?
Yes.
Manson?
Yes.
Barco?
Yes.
Gunkel?
Yes.
Item 3, job share approval. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education for the 1-year job share for a Buckeye Elementary 4th grade position for Ashley Sarmiento for the 2019-20 school year. Item 4, employment. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve change in assignment for Jeffrey Norris, vocational agriculture teacher for Buckeye High School from .33 to full-time effective August 19, 2019. Resignation. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education accept the resignation of Heidi Silcox, 5th grade teacher effective August 15, 2019. Item 6, employment. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education for the 1-year limited contract of Will Krager, high school social studies teacher for the 2019-20 school year. Item 7, certified reduction in force. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the following certified reduction in force effective for the 2019 school year. Mara Ryder, special education tutor. Item 8, employment. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve to hire Mara Ryder, intervention specialist for Buckeye Intermediate, effective August 19, 2019. For 2019-20 school year, Ms. Ryder will be paid per the negotiated agreement at Masters 12. Item 9, administrative contract. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve a 3-year contract for Kelly Knapp, intermediate principal, Effective August 1st, 2019, this administrative contract will be paid per the Buckeye administrative salary schedule at step 4. A copy of the contract will be held in the treasurer's office. Item 10, administrative contract. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve a 3-year contract for Tom Harrington, athletic director, effective August 1st, 2019. This administrative contract will be paid per the Buckeye administrative salary schedule at step 2. A copy of this contract will be held in the treasurer's office. Item 11, administrative contract. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve a 3-year contract for Adam Snook, assistant high school principal, effective August 1st, 2019. This administrative contract will be paid per the Buckeye administrative salary schedule at step 3. A copy of this contract will be held in the treasurer's office. Item B, certified substitutes. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the attached list of certified substitutes tutors recommended by the Medina County Schools ESC to work on an as-needed basis for 2018-19 school year. A copy of the list is attached to board members' agendas as appendix to double B. Item C, classified personnel. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the following classified and personnel items as presented. Number 1, medical leave of absence. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the medical leave of absence for Jeff Miller, bus driver. Mr. Miller's return to work date was April 25th, 2019. Item 2, unpaid medical leave of absence. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve the following unpaid medical leave of absences. A, Hunter Jameson, effective April 17th, 2019, for the remainder of the 2018-19 school year, with an anticipated return to work for the 2019-20 school year. And item B, Carol Scheinman, effective May 1st, 2019, for the remainder of the 2018-19 school year, with an anticipated return to work for the 2019-20 school year. And item 3, remove extended time contracts. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approval a maximum of the following total hours of extended time for the 2018-19 school year as presented. Item 4, administrative contract. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve a 1-year contract for Glenn Reisner, maintenance supervisor, effective August 1st, 2019. This administrative contract will be paid for the Buckeye exempt staff salary schedule at step 3. A copy of this contract will be held in the treasurer's office. Item 5, administrative contract. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve a 3-year contract for Carl Walker, technology coordinator, effective August 1st, 2019. This administrative contract will be paid per the Buckeye exempt staff salary schedule at step 2. A copy of this contract will be held in the treasurer's office. And item 6, administrative contract. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education approve a 2-year contract for Gail Luther, food service supervisor, effective August 1st, 2019. This administrative contract will be paid per the Buckeye exempt staff salary schedule at step 10. A copy of the contract will be held in the treasurer's office.
May I have a motion on these personnel items? Motion. Second? I'll second it. Any questions or comments on these? Roll call.
Mattson?
Yes.
Savarchi?
Yes.
Stahl?
Yes.
Barco?
Yes.
Dunklin?
Yes.
Donations. Recommend the Buckeye Board of Education accept and recognize the following donations to Buckeye local schools as presented. 1 home plate carpet mat, 2 Let's Go landscape rakes, 1 mound tarp, 8 wall pads, 1 Sherwin-Williams spray paint, 1 carpet drag, donated by Rob Bonaga with an estimated value of $6,300.
Motion, please.
Motion. Second.
Roll call.
Savarchi?
Yes.
Stahl?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
Barco?
Yes.
Dunklin?
Yes. All right. Board comments. Anyone who wants to start off tonight? Nothing for Mr. Barco. Mr. Stahl.
First, Vicki, thank you. That was appendix double B. We went through, put that together. Ken, you know water, but good job saying all that stuff. It's the end of the year, so I got to go to field day. That's cool. But to all the parents and all the community members that do so much stuff for us, you can't name them all, but after prom, Billy and everything that they did, the post-it notes, Kim and everyone that started doing that, great job. And as you guys know, we recently had a tragedy in our school district, and all I can say is so impressed by our community and what everyone did and how they came together. From the wrestling family to the school family and everything, it was very impressive. And there was a list online to get meals for the family, and that was going out like 30 or 40 meals, and that filled up in like 20 minutes. So I'm so impressed with Buckeye. And and what they've done, and all the groups of kids that were here today, and every parent that volunteered to help them as well, even if they didn't get in their group. It's just an impressive community, and I'm very proud to be a part of it. So thanks for everyone. Thanks for another good year, and hopefully we'll have this.
I found it to go last and have something that nobody else touched on. So, first off, I want to thank Mr. Morgan and Mr. Jacob. Today we had the military signing in the auditorium. That was very neat to see happen in our building. The mayor of Medina commented with Mr. Morgan. He's not aware of this happening in the entire Medina County, to the best of his knowledge. So Buckey's got a first. Just amazing honor for those kids. And we want to make all this happen twice. So I was very appreciative of that. Lastly, two last things is FFA. Thank you. Great turnaround of the program. It's amazing to see what's going on over there. And it's great things going on. And then finally, Mrs. Middle, you're perched up high, which is an appropriate place for you. That's right. I don't miss you looking down at us in the meetings. But always thank you very much for everything on us.
She's an angel.
Yeah, come on.
Remember that with an EL, that's my name, like an angel.
And Bill, in closing, I'd just like to thank everybody for coming, and we're almost there to the end of the school year, so hang tight as you go through these last few weeks of school. Hopefully everything will go well. And like Mr. Stahl, we don't always agree, but tonight I do. And I know that. Shouldn't have said that, right? I do agree. I'm very proud of this Buckeye community and everything that our students accomplish with the guidance from the adults who are in charge. So thank you very much. For adjournment, I need a motion. So moved. All right, second.
Second.
And roll call.
Kavarchi?
Yes.
Parko?
Yes.
Manson? Stahl?
Yes.
Conklin?
Yes. Thank you, everyone.